first step in mixing is actually calculating the appropriate water temperature by multiplying your final dough temperature by 4 and minus room temperature, pre-ferment temperature, and the flour temperature. Since yeast only thrive in a certain range of temperatures, our desired final dough temperature should be around 75 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. We also need to take the friction factor into consideration because if we are mixing in a mixer, the friction would produce heat, and that heat will increase the dough temperature. However, in this case, we're mixing by hand, so the friction factor will be 0. Now we have the water with the right temperature. Let's start mixing. First, I will do the autolyse. I have the water with the right temperature, the polish I made yesterday, which has risen a lot, and the levain I have here. This would be a modified autolyse because I have 2 of my pre-ferments in the autolyse. This is because the liquid pre-ferment has so much water in it. If I don't use it in the autolyse, the flour won't be hydrated fully. An autolyse is a self-smoothing resting period during which the dough would smooth out, the gluten will develop even without mixing. This saves time and reduces the chance of overmixing and over-oxidizing. Right now I have flour, water, and 2 of my pre-ferments in this bowl. After everything was put in the bowl, I will just mix everything together with one hand, the other hand holding the bowl. Be gentle with the mixing because you don't want to create friction or heat. You're just trying to incorporate everything together. Keep mixing until there's no flour visible, and just cover it with a damp towel or a plastic. Let rest for 30 minutes. So after about half an hour, you can see the dough is pretty smooth. Right now I've already added in the salt, the yeast, and the malt, and I just keep mixing with my hand, kneading a little bit. Try to incorporate evenly the salt and the yeast into the dough.
So it is the shorter story.
After a while, I feel like the dough has some resistance, so with wet hands, I pull a piece of dough out to check the gluten development. Another thing to take into consideration when mixing is to think ahead and realize how many folds you have during fermentation, because you have 2 or 3 folds in fermentation, you don't want to develop your gluten too well during mixing, because by folding you are also agitating the dough, therefore developing the gluten.
I can't take my eyes off of you.
because I'm mixing by hand, there's little chance that I could overmix my dough, but still I'm constantly checking my gluten development. I know that I have one fault in my fermentation, so I don't want to overmix it.
It should be. We'll both forget
After obtaining the proper gluten strength, I put my dough in a stainless bowl and cover it with a damp towel for bulk fermentation. I have 2 hours of fermentation and I will fold it in 1 hour.